Elevate your hatching egg shipping business with Beyond the Egg. Discover the art of premium packaging, master the details of shipping, and create an unforgettable experience for your customers. Enhance your reputation, build lasting trust, and set your business apart as the gold standard. Visit beyondtheegg.com to begin your journey to excellence.
Welcome back, Poultry Nerds. So we've been sitting here chatting with our guests today already, and it's going to be a doozy, I think. So this is the second episode in our Next Level Nerds. For whatever reason, that tongue ties me. And so today we have Bernadine and Ray from Redmond Hills Farm in Oregon. Welcome, guys.
Hey there. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, hello there.
Hey. And Carey's here today.
Yep, I'm here today. I was not able to attend a previous recording session.
Yep, we told them you were busy when we recorded yesterday on delivering feed and stuff. So sometimes business happens.
It does.
And that's what the purpose of our series is, taking these hobbies that we started with to the next level and turning it into kind of a business. So you guys have done that now. You're retired recently, right?
We did retire from outside of the house, working outside of the home. Now we're busy with our farm.
Which took up more time, the other job or this job?
Oh, physically this job by far. Yeah, there was a time where I was doing both. I didn't have much of a life then. So back and forth to the farm and to work. But so now, yeah, we're physically busier than ever, which is, I guess, could be good. But we're supposed to be retired, but we're still working.
So tell us about your farm, where you are, all that good stuff that we need to know.
It starts with my husband Ray's family, so I'll let him kind of explain that part. Henny, go ahead.
So we're in McMinnville, Oregon, and that's about an hour or so south of Portland. Salem is the capital here, so we're between Portland and Salem on the west side of the state. We're about a 40-minute drive to the coast. The farm is originally, it was purchased by my grandparents in 1957. It's right outside of town here, and it was about 600 acres at the time. It's been divided up over the years. It's stayed in the family for the most part, but we got 85 acres of the property, 2 years ago now or so, 2.5 years ago, something like that. So it's been in the family for a long time. My grandfather, when he was alive, raised cattle and sheep. After he died in the 80s, my grandmother stayed on the farm as long as she could, but the property was leased out for sheep and hay and that sort of thing. So once we got our 85 acres, we have to keep this property in farm deferral as far as taxes go, which means we have to farm it. And we have to do a farming practice that the intent is to make a profit, is basically how it's worded. So we looked at a bunch of different things. My parents live up on the farm still. They raise goats. They have Nubians, and they raise Spanish goats for years and years. We looked at doing that. We looked at all kinds of different things. We looked at cattle. And so we just decided that we would go with pasture-raised, non-GMO, no-soy chicken. And I can't remember now at what point we decided to go with quail to go with that. But that's how we got started with the property. We're both now retired. Bernadine retired last year from the county, and so we're both retired from outside farm work. We never really planned on being farmers, honestly.
Yeah.
It was in the family for a long time, and it has been in the famine for a long time. It's all good, though, and that's what we're doing currently.
I just started reading. I started reading Facebook and looking at, I've had chickens in the past, and I had all kinds of chickens. We used to live at another 5 acres away from town a few years ago. And at that point I had chickens. So I liked poultry and I was familiar with poultry. But then I started reading about quail. And I'm like, what quail? And so at the time we were trying to farm our land, then that's when I started really digging into what quail was. And I told Ray, I'm like, hey, maybe we could do quail along with the chicken. And people seemed, and I explained to them what it was. And we can grow for meat, we can grow for eggs. And so that's how that started. Just an idea popped in my head, like, so here we are.
So chicken's like the gateway drug, right, to farming. And now you've added quail. And then I see you added yet another item, 2 weeks ago?
We've got the Longhorn cattle up there now. Yeah, those belong to a friend of ours. We had them bring them up there because we needed cattle on the property to help with the regenerative farming piece of it, but also to help keep the grass down and stuff up there. Our property is pretty much all a hillside, and it's a lot of rock, and it's perfect for grazing animals. And so we needed some help with that, and he's got a bunch of Longhorns and brought them up there.
A win-win that way.
I like the way those look. To me, I just like the look that they have. I don't know if they have any other practical use. I just like the way they look.
They keep the grass down.
Grass down, but their meat is leaner than regular beef, we're told. We haven't tried it yet, but they tell us that it's leaner and it's a better meat, healthier. But they're definitely pretty. They're really beautiful animals, I think.
So based on what I just heard, you decided just to move into the business aspect for the farming credit for the land?
So in order to keep the land in what's called farm deferral here for tax purposes, you have to farm it. So it's in what's called an exclusive farm use zone. There's different zones. There's forestry zones and there's other zones in the state, but exclusive farm use zones, you have to farm it. You have to do something basically to make money, to make a profit it's a farming practice in order to keep your taxes much lower than what they would be otherwise.
Property.
The second reason why is because there's no dwelling, there's no house on this 85 acres. And in order for us to qualify to get a building permit from the county, we have to have a farming operation that produces a certain gross dollar amount for at least 2 years in a row or 3 out of 5 years in order to get the county to approve a building permit for us to build a house on our own property.
Yeah.
There's several different avenues, if you will, for someone that has exclusive farm use land to get a building permit for a dwelling. But our property, because the way it's been divided up over the years and there's houses on other parcels that used to be part of the big parcel, the only option we have is this option. And so that was our main goal and our main reason for getting started with farming the land.
So once you have the house built, do you have to continue farming?
It's still an exclusive farm use. We have to continue some kind of farming operation there, whatever it's going to be, in order to keep the tax deferral status. Yeah.
And Quail's kind of perfect for that.
Yeah. It's just interesting. You would think that people would start their businesses. Oh, I'm just going to sell some eggs, and then it just morphs from there. But in a lot of cases, there's reasons.
There's a need there to do that.
Yep. Okay, so now you're doing Cornish out on pasture, right? And you're doing the quail in the barn. So tell us the business side of it. How did you decide to take the birds to the business level?
As we read more and more about quail, they're excellent egg producers. You get 1 egg from a hen each day. We thought, let's introduce eggs to our community. Try to get the word out that there's quail eggs. A lot of people on our end over here don't know what quail is or how we can use, that we can even eat quail eggs. They think quail are the first thing they say when we tell them that we're raising quail. They think it's a mountain quail that you see outside. Oh, they're so cute. They run around our backyard with a little tuft on the head. And I'm like, no, those are mountain quail. It's not the same, but it's same family, but just not the same bird. So we explained to them what that is. But the more we talk to people, the more we realize that there is some interest out there for eggs. So that's how we started getting birds first for eggs. So we bought a few hatching eggs. We decided to hatch our own. I started really small at home. The NR60, or what was that? I forget what that is. That little NR, little round one.
To ready.
There you go. And so I started with that and Ven Pops or something. Those little round, small incubators that aren't really. I didn't get the Matty Coops from that because I heard that one's pretty good. But I started small and I did pretty good actually for the first few times. I go, this I can do it because I hatched chicken egg before. So I go, this is okay. I did pretty good, getting a good hatch rate. So that's how we started our first little batch of birds. And then I started looking up some videos on how to build cages. Of course, a little bit before I started hatching eggs, I saw Terry's videos on YouTube that gave me great ideas how to build your own cages. We ordered some hardware cloth and everything that we need. Yeah, there you go. From fencewire.com or Amazon. And I built my own cages just by watching videos. And so I bought the shelves, the wire metal shelves that you can get for usually people use for pantries. And then I built my cages and I attached those. And then Ray and I built some wooden ones together and then put cages on those. And so that's how we built our little collection of cages and birds. And it went from there. And pretty soon we started thinking, wow, we have too many roosters. We got to do something with roosters. And we start calling around and see how we can get them. There's different rules for that here in Oregon, too. We can't just process them out of our house and sell them. It's got to go through a licensed facility. There's all kinds of rules and regulations with that. So that's how that started with that. Pretty soon we're processing roosters and selling them. We started going to the farmer's market with our pasture-raised chickens. So we introduced Quail, and now we take Quail to the farmer's market. And it grew from there, just from extra roosters. So that's how that started.
From a business perspective, we have another business too that we've had for years. And so we have an idea about what it takes to get a business started and get your name out there and all the licensing that's involved and insurance, everything else. We just knew that in order to get to the goal that we need to get to meet the gross income requirements, in order to get a building permit for our house, that we needed to get to build this business and really put it out there. That's has been our driver from day one, is to get to that point where we can report to the county that we've earned what we need to so we can get a building permit to build a dwelling up on our farm.
We'll be right back.
Looking to rock some seriously comfy gear? If you love chickens and you're all about that fun style, then Chicken Box has got the perfect t-shirts for you. From quirky designs to classic looks, their shirts are as comfy as us chicken tenders deserve. They even have a subscription service so your coop doesn't get bored. Head over to PoultryNerdsPodcast.com and click on Chicken Box to get your comfy shirts and support the podcast.
Well, I'm in Tennessee, and we can just process the quail and sell them out the back door, essentially, like endless supplies of them.
I was going to say,
species.
Yeah, they have, the USDA has exemptions for people under X number amount that you don't have to go through. It's crazy to me that some states require more than what the feds do.
Yeah, I should have said.
You remember, we could process ourselves and sell up to 1,000 birds directly from the farm. That means folks would have to come to the farm and buy those directly from us. If you want to sell to a restaurant, if you want to sell to a catering company, if you want to sell to the public at a farmer's market, the birds have to be processed by a licensed processing facility, state licensed processing facility, which is the place we use is also USDA inspected. So that's the deal there. We can sell up to 1,000 birds directly from our property if people come up there and get them. But,
see, in Alabama, since COVID, they made this exception where you could actually make deliveries. So it didn't have to be they didn't have to come to your farm. During that time, they allowed for deliveries. And I think that was USDA. So maybe Oregon might allow for deliveries.
Yeah, I haven't found that at all. We've talked to the state and to the processors and to the the state agricultural folks here, and that's never been even mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 1,000 quail goes really quick too.
It does. And plus, go ahead.
I found the best luck reading those rules and stuff on the website, because you would be surprised at the amount of rules and exemptions that those charged with enforcing have no clue they exist.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, delivery would be a great option, actually, because we're NPIP certified. I don't want a lot of people coming up to the farm.
yeah, I mean,
and
that's
not a lot of
a
traffic.
risk.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
part of the
risk.
problem too is we don't have an address for farm property. So in order to get people up there, they have to go across another part of the property. There's 3 other houses up there with 3 different addresses, but our property doesn't have an address. So trying to get people up there would be a major pain.
A wrong direction. If they follow GPS, it gets them lost.
I ended up at my sister's house.
Still.
Mm.
That's a different story.
Okay,
But-
so you guys are selling the pasture chicken. Are you using Cornish for that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're selling the quail meat and the eggs, and all of that's at the farmer's market?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Are
And
you-
we offer delivery.
Are you
We
still
do
doing
deliver.
chicks too? I know at one point you were doing chicks.
We are doing chicks. We recently, within the last last year, actually. Last year, we started delivering to our local farm stores for chicks. We have 3 different, they're called Wilco here in Oregon. There's 3 different ones that have called us from different cities that want chicks. So we've been hatching. We make deliveries every 2 weeks of about 150 chicks, 50 chicks to each Wilco. So that's been kind of a neat little, it's kind of exciting because it got some business going there.
Is it hard to get your foot in the door to do that?
Not too hard.
Not really.
I made some phone calls out to the farm store. There's Wilco stores, there's Coastal, there's Tractor Supply. So there's several. And so I just started calling, and we go into this Wilco here in McMinnville all the time. And so we talked to them when we went in there, and yeah, it wasn't too hard actually.
They do require that you're NPIP certified, so that helped in that aspect.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep our certification so we can do that. And that's all they wanted of us. They asked if we were certified, and they didn't even come to our farm or anything. They just
He came to the house.
to the house. He came to the house, but not the farm. Yeah, we spoke to him in person, and that's all it took. And pretty soon, then word got out to the other Wilcos in different cities. We drive, Vancouver in
Hour and a half.
about an hour and a half to deliver chicks on every other Saturday. But the word of mouth is what really got us a business. They just sent an email to all Wilcos saying that we had chicks, and they sell the next day. They sell over, we've gone there the following day and they're all gone. And they've told us that they sell in one day. 50 chicks will just go like that and they're gone. So far, it's doing really well.
Then you say, next time order 75.
I just need more birds. I didn't want to go
yes.
over because there's only 2 of us, and it is a lot of work. Those poop trays, you know how that goes. So we're constantly cleaning poop trays and waterers. And so it would be nice, but at the same time, I don't know if I want that much more. But yeah, we can do more. We've talked about it before. If we really wanted to ramp it up, I think we really could.
We had one of the stores actually call us recently, and they wanted to up their order to 100 chicks. It's from 50. And so we started doing that. But my preference would be, I think our preference would be at some point to hatch chicks and sell chicks and not necessarily continue with raising Cornish, especially non-GMO, no soy. It's expensive. It's really expensive, and it's a heck of a lot of work, as you guys know. So, I would really like, and we're supposed to be retired. At some point, I think it would be good if we could just hatch chicks and sell chicks. I would love that. We've got everything to do it.
Oh, yeah. But you're not processing, right? You're taking them to a processor.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. But you have obviously predator issues probably, right? Because I see you post about bears and stuff.
Oh, cougars and bears. We have it all. Coyotes, owls. We had a rescue an owl that got tangled up in one of our nets, our Cornish nets, because we have to have the netting. We have a mountain pasture on the surrounded with electrical fence, but we have to have them in smaller areas where we can put a large netting over it. Because when we didn't do that, we lost every night. We were losing a bird to an owl or more than one owl. So yeah, we have cougar, we have bear, we have everything. Our quail are inside a barn that's we made it for that purpose. It's got the vents or the fan. We've got the LED lighting, 16 hours a day on programmed lighting. So they get 14 hours of light every day. They've got the big man doors where they can get air. And once in a while, we'll go there and open the man doors so they get the fresh air. So that works out good for the quail. And they're protected that way because they're not outside. But our Cornish, we really had to do the extra work with the netting and the electrical wiring and all that to make sure they're protected. And Ray usually takes care of the Cornish and I take care of the quail. That's how we divvy up. We help each other, but that's our focus.
Yeah, I'd rather do the quail over the Cornish too.
Yeah.
They're messy.
They're nasty.
Or are you doing anything with all of that manure to be profitable? Or no?
No, no, not right now, but that's something they definitely can get into if we wanted to. Yep. We have a whole pile.
You can have your own Mount Poopmore. That's what we call ours, is Mount Poopmore.
We have ours.
Yeah, people will actually get that to use for their flower beds, raised gardens, that kind of stuff. That's a good thing that you can use for your old feed sacks.
And it's pretty hot. So how long is it like chicken manure or how long does it need to cool off?
So we put ours out and then I get the free tree trimmings from the tree cutters and they dump in a pile up to the side in our field. And then every time we put scoops of the quail poop out, we just add a scoop of the tree trimmings, and that makes the browns, right? And then anything else from the brooders or whatnot goes in that pile too, and then we just churn it over. But we generate a lot here. We have a literal mountain of it, and it sits for about 10 months. And then I'll run out of the last cycle from the garden, and then I'll start using this one. And so we always have two going, one we're using in the garden and one that's more fresh. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. Yep, that's a good idea. We definitely could use that. We have a manure too on the other side of our property where my in-laws live because they're right adjacent to ours. So they're like living on the property. The way it's divided, they're actually outside on their own area. But she has goats, so we have a lot of compost from that end too. So there's a pile over there and then there's a pile over here of our quail manure. But we definitely use that for compost.
Yeah, you can sell it hot to somebody who's going to compost it. But yeah, if you just let it sit, because it's springtime working on my garden and stuff, and we're bringing it over and putting it in my beds, and gosh, it's just full of worms, and it's just so soft and fluffy.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. And I have people ask me, like, do you sell it? And I'm like, well, I'm just growing potatoes right now.
We'll use it, yeah.
We've had one or maybe two people ask if we were selling it too. But now we have, with the cattle up there, they're stomping it down. Like they're going through the middle of it.
Yeah, we
just about every day.
Yeah, you might consider piling that up. That would be an easy source of just a money pile right there.
That's a good idea. Yeah, definitely put in a little like
fishing worms.
Yeah, good fishing worms.
Exactly.
Maybe some pellets around or something so the cows don't get to it.
And we have black soldier fly that come naturally here. So they work it for us pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Do you have those there?
I don't know. I don't think we do. I haven't seen them.
Oh no. Oh,
I'm not.
You're golden.
I don't think I'll have to look. I don't think we have just the regular house flies. Yeah.
You can get some of those off of eBay and go ahead and start you a Mount Poopmore and then dump them in it, and they will go through it and do everything you need them to do, and they will greatly multiply.
And they're good snacks for the birds too, right? Though.
Oh yeah. My ducks free range, and they're always over there digging through Mount Poopmore looking for stuff. And I know that's what they're finding over there.
That's definitely another money source for sure. If you want to into that.
And then I hear you got a new contract too. So you're moving into restaurant food too now?
Oh, yeah. Ray got that with the
Yeah, we're
catering
gonna-
company.
catering company.
Yeah. So tell them, Ray, how they reached out to him.
You don't have to tell us all your secrets, but we just want to give people ideas.
No
they're-
secrets.
They reached out to us actually, and so that's part of the whole getting your name out there and doing social media left and right.
Word of mouth, and maybe at the farmer's market, maybe that might have helped. I can't remember. How did they find our name? Do you remember how they said that? Our website. We have a website too, so that's helpful. And I think that's how they found us. But yeah, word of mouth. So he's using our chicken right now. At one point he wants some quail, but he said for now he wants some Cornish hens, and so we're gonna try raising some Cornish hens for him too, the smaller size, so he can have it in his menu. He has a real large catering business that he does for the wineries here. We have a lot of wineries here in our county, and so that's what he does, and that's kind of exciting. Hopefully it all goes through. Sometimes you don't know. People say they want to work with you, and then you don't hear from them. But he's been up pretty, took some of our birds, so hopefully he continues. But sometimes you just gotta, like you said, roll with it. It doesn't always work just like you think it's going to, but you got to do it, or else you got to try.
You got to try and then adapt a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Yeah. That's like the foam for me or the feed for Carey. We didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I think I'm going to make foam today. It was, I need foam and I can't find it anywhere. So I adapted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how you learn too. You just improvise and you adapt and overcome.
Okay, so now I'm gonna let Carey go, but on his rabbit hole stuff, I've been teasing him for 30 minutes now. So tell us about drilling your well and capturing rainwater in Oregon, because we're just like beside ourselves here about it.
So is it that where you guys are, you can just, if you need you can just have a well drilled? And
You had a well drilled over at the greenhouse a couple years ago and hooked it up. Nobody cared.
So like where we live, and I'm like a mile from the city limits. If you want to capture rainwater or drill a well or anything like that, there's literally nobody that governs that. They could care less. Now, if you want to build a house, they're going to want to look at your plans, and you'll need to pull some permits for that. Unless you are building it yourself. And if you yourself are doing your own construction and have permits or have blueprints, then they'll let you pull your own. But yeah, there's nobody riding around looking to see how many birds you process.
Nope.
When I asked my USDA person, hey, in Alabama, do we go by the federal guidelines for the farm exemption, or do y'all have something else? And she was like, no, that we don't have anything specific. I said, okay, so how does that really work? And she looks me straight in the face and says, well, that really depends on your bookkeeping.
Wow.
And I said, yes, ma'am, I appreciate your time. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Oregon's a beautiful green state, but yeah, they've got some funny rules.
Everything here is regulating permits and approvals and inspections, literally everything. So there's
They want their
actually
money.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's actually a database that you can find online. It's open public information about water wells drilled in Oregon. It'll tell you how many gallons per minute they pump. So they keep track of all of this information. To get a well drilled, you have to get a permit first. And then once you get a permit, you get somebody to come out and actually drill the well, the casing, all that stuff has got to be inspected. Yeah, it's crazy. So Everything is, and even if you're building a house yourself out here, especially if it's on farmland, you have to pull all the same permits that a contractor would have to pull, and inspections and all that stuff too. So, you asked about,
yeah, it's expensive too.
oh my God, you asked about rainwater. We were talking about this earlier, but essentially the way the state of Oregon looks at rainwater is that when it hits the ground, it belongs to every person in the state of Oregon. Essentially, we have a large barn. We have two now, but the large barn has big water tanks at one end, and so the water hits the metal roof, comes down to the gutters, and it goes into the water tanks. You can store water that way.
Okay.
You don't have to have any special permit or anything like that. We were looking at digging out a pond up there because we have there's a stream that flows on one side of the property, and we could dig out a nice pond over there for agricultural use, for livestock, whatever. But in order to do that, you're supposed to get a hold of the water master. There's actually
A water master?
There is a water master for each area. Yes.
So this is my biggest question. So in the state of Oregon, if you capture it before it hits the ground, then it's yours. But once it hits the ground, it belongs to everybody in the state. Is that right? Okay.
That is correct.
So every month when they send you a water bill, do they also send you a check? Because I mean, if the water belongs to each of y'all as well as everyone else in Oregon, they should take how many gallons were used through their system and calculate the math out and send you your residuals. I would think.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
crazy.
Alaska does that with the oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, so the water masters, there's one for this. I don't know. I think he's the only water master for the whole western side of the state. So there's not very many of them. But he actually told me too one time, you're supposed to submit an application for if you're going to dig out a pond. You have to include in that where the pond is going to be, how the water is going to get to it, where it's going to come from, running down the hill or whatever. And you have to pay like a $700 fee for this application just to dig a hole on your property to capture water. And technically, if you don't do it and they find out that you've got this pond, they can come out there and make you fill it in or whatever. But he did tell me himself, there are people out there that dig their own ponds, and I don't have the time or the resources to get to every property. So
yeah. So do they just have people that ride around and, oh, there's a pond. Let me look and see if their address is in our database. Nope, we're going to send them a fine. Let me keep riding.
Well, they'd never find ours if we had one, because they have to find it by helicopter. That's the only way they'd find it.
Jeez, I'd like to know how you get this job as a water master.
I don't even want to know.
That has to be a very lucrative position.
Yeah.
Powerful position.
Both direct deposit and in envelopes.
So once you have can you use it for whatever you want, or are there restrictions on that too?
There are wells for agriculture, and there are wells for personal use, like your home, your barns or whatever. So the well that we had drilled, we're planning on building a house right there. And plus we just put up a new barn and we needed water to the barn. Once you've drilled if we wanted to tap off of that well and run irrigation, we could, but it's not something that we're going to be doing up there. You can't really grow anything on our property except oak trees, fir trees, and poison oak everywhere. But
you need goats.
Blackberry bushes. Yeah.
We used to have about 400, 500 goats roaming the property, but not so much anymore.
And we lost a lot too with the cougars out there. Yeah. That's another story, but
you guys are navigating a lot of issues, I think, that majority of us just don't even comprehend, because we had the well dug a couple years ago, and we have a pond that was dug when we built the house, and it just never occurred to anybody here that anybody would care what we were doing.
Yeah, it's actually called water rights. out here. So sometimes you'll see a property for sale out here, and the listing will say that it has water rights included. So those water rights come from that application to the water master. Once you're approved and you've got a pond or what have you, then you get water rights, to the right to capture that water from a stream or down the hill into a pond. And at any rate, yeah.
Yeah. They got it. Yeah. It's not as simple as, you have property, go build a house. And some people still don't realize, they think that all we got to do is go buy a piece of property and homestead it and away they go. And it's not that easy.
They say, how come you guys don't live on your farm?
Yeah, we get that spot.
Yeah.
Well, we want to, but
Okay, we have a few minutes. So tell us, you told us already, but tell the listeners your HOA/incubator story.
okay. We are having our barn built. So in the meantime, we put our cabinet hatchers in the garage and our brooder in the garage. We have a 3-stack GFQ brooders, just 3 of them stacked up, and the 2 hatching time cabinet incubators and hatchers. So we put those in the garage so we can hatch our birds. And then when they're at 3 weeks or so, 2.5, 3 weeks, we were moving them over to the garage or to the farm. Once they hatched and they were able to go out, we put them out into aviaries. At the time, we had a few aviaries at the farm. And so that's how we're moving the birds out there while we had our farm built. When, I don't know how, maybe our garage door was open one day or I don't know how this happened, but somebody got wind in the neighborhood that we were hatching birds, that we were breeding birds in our garage. And I don't know if the bird flu, they got scared. They called the county. We heard from the county. We received a letter stating that there's been a complaint that we're breeding birds in our garage. No one ever talked to us. We would have, and had they come up to us and asked us, we would have told them our birds are probably safer because they're NPIP certified. We have them tested every 6 months. They're probably safer than the birds out in your backyard. So if you're that scared or that afraid, you shouldn't go outside. Those birdies are going to hurt you out there. But had they talked to us, and they didn't. So we had to take all our birds, our incubators, up to the farm. What happened, though, it was good timing, because at that point, our barn was already getting finished. So we were able to install it like a month and then move them out there. They also told us, and then they changed their rules on their HOA. What do you call it again?
The rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations, where specifically now they updated it and sent everybody an updated copy. Now it says no quail or live bird allowed.
Live eggs.
Live eggs. No quail or live eggs of any kind. So I'm thinking, no live eggs. Does that mean we can't eat eggs? We can't have eggs in a refrigerator? Because I know there are groups out there that hatch them.
I wouldn't buy any free range ones. They might get you for that.
It's a joke with us now. So we come home from the farm with a basket of eggs in the truck, and we're walking across our front yard. We live in a neighborhood, and there's nosy neighbors over here at the start of this. So we're like, oh, here we are. We're back at it with our live eggs going in the house.
We came back from processing one time with our basket with the, what do you call them again, Hank? Where we carry the birds up to processing the cages.
The transport cages.
The transport cages we had in the back of our trailer. And we stopped at the house first before we headed to the farm. And the birds had already been processed. They were just empty cages, crates. So we got a call from the city saying that someone was complaining that we're back at it again, raising live birds. And that's what she said. We're back at it. And so now that's a joke between us. We're back at it. But
curiosity, are like you in a condo or a house?
We're in the house.
Yeah, this whole neighborhood was built about a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So there's people out there watching every little thing we do. So now when we get home, we're like, oh, we're back at it.
I think I'd bring all those transport cages out to the front yard and pressure wash them out there if it was me.
I think I would do something like that. And next time I got a call, I would say, will you please come to my house? I would like for you to come to my house so you can see what's going on and let them see the empty transport baskets. And then I would say, okay, now this person over here, I would like to file harassing communication charges against them because they are harassing me by doing this.
Russell,
We
we
have-
walked over.
We actually back up complaints that they made. And along with that was this picture that this neighbor took of our truck and trailer in the driveway with the empty crates on the trailer. Oh, after I got that, we went down to her house and confronted her outside. She said that
Friendly, not in a bad way.
she was friendlier than I was. But
I walked over and I said, she's outside. I said, I heard you had some concerns. I said, I wish you would have come talk to us because we would have explained to you that there's no fear. You're safe. There's no breeding. There's no bad birds here. You're not going to get anything blowing your way. I said, I wish you would have talked to us first and then we could settle your concerns. And she's, oh, okay. I said, next
I
time.
would have
Mr.
gave you a
Rossi,
dozen eggs that weren't live.
free unlive eggs.
Yeah.
Maybe they
here's
want
some-
you to eat those. What is it? Just egg out of the vegan section in the dairy? Is it a carton of
The powder, the milk, the liquid form. Yeah.
Maybe that's what
Or
they
powder.
powder to eat.
Can have powdered eggs.
Send me back.
But that was freeze dried from what could have been a free range egg at some point in time. And yeah, there's a whole
No.
Facebook group about hatching free range eggs that you get from the stores.
I know.
I would want to know what kind of eggs she has in her refrigerator. They may be live too.
And how can she prove that they're not?
That's right.
Nope.
That's an
Yeah, so
HOA
that's-
fine waiting to happen.
the thing is, too, there's a lot of kids in this neighborhood, young kids. When I was in school, which was a long time ago, but I know kids still do this, they incubate and hatch eggs at school or at home as a school project.
We did it
Yeah.
in my classroom this year and last year.
Yeah, and kids do it at home all the time. So one of my arguments to them was, so are you saying the kids at school can't hatch an egg, a little chick at their house? Well, we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. So cool.
So we got to
Well,
watch
I'm just-
those, all of you out there. Watch those HOAs.
I'd be like, I'm just hatching some out for everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I
I should just go on and hand out free eggs to everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Let's
So, well, back to the business thing. I told one of my kids just yesterday, if being self-employed and running your own business was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's right.
No. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of challenges. Sometimes with people, sometimes just in business general. Yeah.
And adaptations. I think that was a good word for the day.
Mhm.
I appreciate you guys joining us and explaining your journey. Making a
Well,
business
thanks
out-
for having me.
Yeah.
It's been fun, though. It's not all bad. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad we're doing it. It's good work. We're retired, but it's also good physical work. It feels good. We're happy at the end of the day. We're tired, but it's a good work. It's not all bad.
If you enjoy what you do, it makes a thing. It's a thing.
What'd you say, Ray?
Carrie didn't get to his rabbit hole.
Oh, I did with the
If it's everybody's water, then why are they charging me for it? I would, if I had a water god in my state like that, that would come and look at my pond. I don't know. I'd have a field day with it.
it's water master, water god.
They act like the other though. Hope I didn't offend anybody with that. If so,
Your best
Carrie
friend.
at poultrynerds.com.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for joining us this week. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can receive new episodes right when they are released. And they're released every week. Feel free to email us at poultrynerds@gmail.com to share your thoughts about the show. Until next time, Poultry Pals, keep clucking, keep learning, and keep it exciting. This is Carrie signing off from Poultry Nerds. Feathers up, everyone.